You better rock your body now. Everybody. Rock your body. Everybody. Rock your body right. Easy's back. All right. All right.
All right, Friday night. It's the Maverick Times Podcast. We got episode 27. We have some developments that have come up. Some of you may have already heard through news. We have something that has turned around. The headlines that have been going on the past week or two. We had a quick turnaround. Now, all of a sudden, we have a non-suit being filed by Miss Claudia White, kind of turning this whole thing with the Maverick County Attorney's Office pretty much all around. Thank you guys for joining us. We have a few joining us from Facebook, others from Twitter. Or X, whatever you prefer to call it. We expect that many more to join us, guys. Tonight, thank you. It's Friday night. We know that most people are getting ready to enjoy their weekend, and we appreciate you jumping on real quick just to hear what the latest is going on in the Maverick County saga that's happening at the Maverick County Attorney's Office. So you have a interesting situation where, going a little bit back and giving you background on it, you have a situation where you have an employee from the Maverick County Attorney's Office that went and filed pretty much alleged a lot of stuff against the Maverick County attorney. So, it was this, that, and the other. Pretty much everything but the kitchen sink type of accusation. The Maverick County attorney was accused of forcing himself onto somebody else, or a woman, his employee. It was pretty thick. If you follow us, we gave you guys a run through that actual petition. If you want to take a look at that, we do have that in our archive. Take a look at that video because we do go in depth of the petition that was filed by Miss Claudia White. After that petition was filed, of course, you had the Maverick County attorney, his attorneys on behalf of the Maverick County attorney, Jaime Iracheta. They filed something in court in response to what was filed by Miss Claudia White, pro se. That's what it was said, right? We don't think that she was acting pro se. She had to have been assisted by somebody. The way that petition was written, if you read it out, it does have some somebody with legal experience, moderate legal experience. I say moderate because there was a little mistakes here and there in the petition, but so you have the situation where now, a couple of days ago, we had a filing coming from Miss White again. This time, this was filed December 3rd, so a few days ago, 3 days ago, at the Maverick County 293rd District Clerk's Office, or at the District Clerk's Office. Filed on the 365th, Judicial District Court. And we have Miss Claudia White, who is the petitioner, right? And we'll bring it up to you guys so you guys can take a look at it. This is the actual filing. Maybe a little bit difficult for you guys to see, but I'll go ahead and read it out for you guys so you guys get what is coming out here. So you have the Claudia White is the petitioner versus Jaime Iracheta, the respondent. You have the plaintiff's notice of non-suit without prejudice against Jaime Iracheta. To the Honorable Judge of said court, plaintiff Claudia White files this notice of non-suit without prejudice, and in support, therefore, would show as follows. Plaintiff's non-suit her claims in the matter against defendant Jaime Iracheta without prejudice to refiling these claims. A plaintiff's non-suit is effective immediately upon filing. See Travelers Insurance Co. versus Joachim 315S.W.3D, bunch of stuff, Texas 2010. Court costs are to be assessed against party incurring the same. Plaintiff request that the court enter the order attached to this notice of non-suit. And of course, it is signed, respectively submitted, Claudia White, pro se petitioner. Now, even I would say even this petition is pretty well written. I don't think I wouldn't say it's per se pro se, because it is well written. I would go as far to say that she probably had some assistance in writing this. I'd be curious to say who is the person that assisted her, right? But she had some assistance in writing this, because it's not that easy to write this type of document and hit it the way they're hitting it, which is I mean, they're getting the gist of everything, right? I've seen some, of course, written a little bit better than that, some written worse than that, but it's getting the job done. Okay. So she files this now. I read everything. If you want, we can go through the order that's attached here. It says, on the day to be considered, plaintiff's notice of non-suit without prejudice as to defendant Jaime Iracheta, the court, having reviewed the notice of non-suit without prejudice, finds all things proper. It is therefore ordered that the claims plaintiff Claudia White against the above defendant are hereby non-suited and dismissed without prejudice, and taxable costs will be borne by the party incurring the same. So they're giving the order to the judge, right? So the judge can just sign off on what they're proposing. And what Claudia White is proposing is to pretty much drop it at this time, but she's still leaving a back door for her to be able to bring the suit at a later date. Now, I understand that they are leaving the door to bring up the suit at a later date. To me, and I think that in any jury, any judge's eyes, bringing a suit at a later date after you're doing this non-suit, and especially after everything that has come out since the original petition, it wouldn't look too favorably upon the plaintiff. You have to see the whole court, the process and timeline of how this thing played out, how everything came about, and the situation now where leaves. Of course, we haven't spoken to the plaintiff, but the way things come out and how it's ending up, right, with the non-suit, one has to have that kind of opinion that, this is pretty much dead. You don't think that it's going to come up later on, because if you bring something up later on, there's just a whole cloud of doubt as to why are you dropping it now? Why are you going to bring it up, a couple of months later? Why not pursue it as is, right? And of course, this is not where it ends today with Miss White. Of course, she is dropping this suit at the moment. Again, she could bring it up later on, but right now she's choosing to drop this. But that does not negate the situation that is happening currently with the Maverick County Attorney's Office, where there was an overpayment that was given to her. whether that overpayment was given as to oversight, because of an oversight, because of a mistake, whatever that situation may be, she is still on the hook for that. It was estimated about $16,000 overpayment. Now, going into that overpayment, it's a different situation because you have to think about the whole case as a, it's not just one section, right? It's a big part. So you got this suit that's being dropped at the moment. Now, just because this suit is dropped, that does not mean that the case is over. That there still could be criminal charges coming on the back end of this situation, or criminal investigation. Sorry, they could be coming back in, and somebody could be taking a look at the overpayment, especially given the situation. What we're looking at is there has not been anything else presented other than she did not report or mention the overpayment to the proper authorities, which would be Maverick County, the auditor's office, her supervisor, and from what you can gather of what we've been able to present to everybody is that yes, there was an overpayment given. One, that there, you can't doubt that. Two, that it went on for several months. Three is that throughout those several months, there was never anybody stepping up saying, hey, there's this overpayment. There's this, I'm getting paid more than I should be. Something's going on. Now, if you go back to the petition that Miss White filed, she speaks about thinking, or she comes to the assumption that she was given some type of bonus. That is why she was getting paid. I think that salary comes close to even what the county attorney is being paid. So that's a big chunk of money. You're talking about over $2,000 a paycheck clearing, take home over $2,000. I mean, I'd like to say that most of my audience out there is the average working class. So you guys understand that we don't regularly see checks over those 2,000 take home, right? So it's kind of alarming when somebody is taking these checks, especially public money, and not making anybody aware of these mistakes as they're happening. Now, we don't know whether it's an auditing mistake, whether it's a accounting type of mistake, or if there was a situation. I mean, we don't know how that situation or how that overpayment happened. But the fact that there was an overpayment, there was an overpayment. There is an estimated 16,000 that is, that needs to be paid back, and that's a large sum of money by any means. And not many people do have 60,000 just laying around where they can reach in their pocket, reach in their bank account to pay 60,000, at the drop of a hat. So that creates a situation for Miss White where a criminal investigation may be launched. We're not sure if it will be at this time or what kind of negotiations could be being made behind the curtains to avoid this type of situation. But what everybody needs to remember is that this is a serious situation, regardless of the fact of how the outcome of this alleged, what else can you call the situation other than, smear campaign? Because regardless of what happened, the facts, we're not going to know because there's a non-suit right now, right? They're dropping everything. So nothing is going to come out of it. We're not going to know any more other than the petition. So we're not going to be able to distinguish what exactly were the facts from, what was overly exaggerated. One thing is for sure is that given the situation as it's turning out, it seems that everything that was submitted on behalf pro se from Miss Claudia White, maybe not everything was exactly 100% truthful, or it may have gone a little bit more, reached a little bit more than it should. And again, that's my opinion, given the fact that a couple of weeks later, after the original filing, it gets dropped in a non-suit. So you have this non-suit, and I have heard from other sources talking about this. It doesn't mean that he's innocent or this, that, or the other. And I would say that the law says you're innocent until proven guilty. And given the situation where we have a non-suit being filed by the plaintiff, I think that pretty much vindicates the Maverick County attorney from, one, any kind of criminal wrongdoing that she had alleged in her petition, but two, now it makes everything a little bit cloudy on her accusations of, forcible or whatever else that she mentioned. It brings into question her whole petition now, that she has dropped this case, right? So one has got to think that given the actions by the plaintiff, what can one, what's your conclusion on that? So she filed something, they responded, and then a non-suit gets filed shortly after. Typically you'll see cases like this, legal cases that happen. And the reason why non-suits come is that they miscalculated on their situation. Either they thought that they had a case, or they were looking to get, maybe some kind of money out of this or some kind of favor out of this. Again, this is just my opinion from what I've seen from previous cases that I have seen, not just here in Maverick County, but legal cases in general. You have somebody backing down on their original petition. One can only conclude that, their case to begin with was not that solid as it, as the picture was painted a certain way, but it wasn't painted, in facts and truths, because again, they ended up dropping the case later on. Usually if you have a strong case, you file it, you're not going to be dropping off a week or two later, trying to make a non-suit. So that's one of the things I wanted to point out. And the reason that I feel that it needed to get pointed out was because there is no other news media pointing out the facts, specifically on this case. I don't know what maybe the reason, or maybe, I don't know what the situation is, but there was many out there, and I won't even say many out there in the media. I'll say many out there that, get behind the camera, so to speak, to tell you about things that are going on, current events or recent events, or just situations that are happening here in Eagle Pass. Everybody likes a good cheese merit here and around the border of Maverick County, Eagle Pass. But a lot of the times here, you'll get what is a one-sided story, or a half truth, or La historia que le conviene, right? So we see that a lot down here. And, unfortunately, this case, and I'm not defending anybody or anything. I mean, I still have my um, reserves about the situation, but whenever you're looking at any kind of thing that's happening, and the reason why we're taking this one a little more in depth, of course, it happened in the public eye, in a public office, right, so to speak. But you need to take consideration into what the whole story brings. Now, again, there's people out there and news medias out there that have just painted this story, one color, and that's it, right? It's this, that, the county attorney did this, and he needs to be removed. He needs to be, and I understand those people when they're saying what they need to say. Everybody has the right to say what they need to say, but I do think that the people that are listening also have the right to hear the whole story, right? Everything out there complete in its entirety, because as human beings, we cannot come up with the exact we cannot come up with an assumption, a determination, a best guess, or you cannot form an opinion without having all the information in front of you. I mean, I suppose you can, but it wouldn't be your best opinion or best educated guess on it, because if you're not given the full opinion about everything, then how are you going to be able to digest and, come out with this complete thought out statement about something? You won't be able to. So you have the situation with the county attorney. And again, it's not anything in defense to the county attorney. This situation could have played out against anybody that have gone into this type of situation. But if you look at the facts and what has happened moving forward from the first petition to the response to now you get, the non-suit, you have to take a step back and look at the whole picture of everything and think to yourself, so you threw this big old affidavit out and went to go testify with this affidavit, went to our court system to tell us this story about our Maverick County attorney, yet weeks later you go and you drop it. I mean, I'll leave it up to the people if you guys want to be brave enough. The comments have been a little quiet, which is very it's not like you guys, but go ahead and in the comments and let us know what you think. I will say that it seems like it was a little bit of a stretch with this. I mean, I'm not going to give you or tell you what happened or what it was or whether they had this or had that. Now, you can look into it. It seems like there was something there. I mean, I'm not going to say that there wasn't, to the extent of what was there. Now, I think that is hard to determine for anybody that's reading this as an outsider like we are, right? It's hard to determine exactly how close this situation was between them two. And I think that with the non-suit being filed, it vindicates the Maverick County attorney, and the thing that it vindicates is that, one, there was no criminal wrongdoing, as she mentioned or tried to allude to, that she was forced or felt obligated, right, to throw the pee at him, to her county attorney. But the non-suit was filed, so now that leaves still in the back of everybody's mind is that $60,000 overpayment, because again, this person was getting paid. This person was a receptionist and was getting paid close to what the county attorney made at the time that she was getting paid this. So this was a couple of months ago, and you're talking about upwards of $2,000, 2,100 take home. A lot of our viewers here are middle class, working, hard working residents, right? Not many of us see $2,000 on that check, but this person did. This person, we can only assume, and allegedly, she knew that she was getting overpaid. Later on, that she questioned, thought she was receiving a bonus, question mark, right? Because there was never anything in place to say that overpayment is something that does need to be investigated. And I would say, hey, investigate why she was getting overpaid, because I think that is a very concerning mishap, especially when it comes to public funds, when taxpayer funds, right? So that situation, we will be monitoring it. But I did want to come on here and let you guys know the situation, even though you guys may have already heard of what transpired. But the narrative that, oh, it does not vindicate, oh, it does not say that the Maverick County attorney is innocent, is grossly negligent in the statement on its own, right? Because this pretty much does vindicate the Maverick County Attorney's Office from doing any wrong, from being held accountable of any wrongdoing that is alleged in Miss White's petition. That's the whole reason why there is a non-suit being filed, because she is saying she's withdrawing her allegations against the Maverick County attorney. And that's one thing that needs to be said, especially since there's been such a one-sidedness in this particular story. Big one-sidedness that's been going on with the news and how this has been represented to the audience. Yes, we wanted. I agree with you that, maybe the audience wanted something a little more sexier, a little bit of zest in it, a little bit of novella, something to get everybody excited about Eagle Pass, Maverick County. But the news, again, and not just news, people that get themselves in front of video and want to talk about what's going on in the community, they overplayed this one. They overdid it. They try to make it more than it was. What was it? Something happened in an office. Something's been going on, titter tatter, but they failed to address the situation about $16,000 taxpayer funds being overpaid to a receptionist. Totally missed on that one. News, what would you call these people? News personalities, and one of the things is that I strongly believe, go after a person when they're wrong, but when you know they are wrong, right? And we've been having a lot of people coming out trying to say that people are wrong, and that's, that's right. You have the right to call out people when they're wrong, but have the receipts to go along with those accusations, right? Um, and unfortunately, in this case, and I feel bad for the county attorney because you know his dirty laundry got aired, and then all of a sudden, it wasn't even worth the whole suit because they end up dropping it. But you have somebody's family life that got tarnished for what, right? And then now it turns out that all these other news people or people that want to tell you guys the current events or the truth o la verdad lo que está pasando, el mero chile lo que está, te voy a decir la verdad, or we're the most honest news, we don't have anybody that's employed by governmental entities, or we don't take money, or we're not bought by anybody, all this bullshit that they try to tell you, but they tell you one side of the story, right? Because go back and into anybody else that reported this and tell me about anybody else that told you about $60,000 that was overpaid to Miss White. But don't worry, I'll wait. I mean, you won't find anybody else telling you that story other than maybe the Newsgram. I think Informate maybe had it out, but did anybody else say that? Anybody else reporting this story? Did anybody else say that there was a $16,000 overpayment by her? Or that she was getting paid, she got paid $16,000 more than she should have of taxpayer funding? No, they didn't say that. Why didn't they say that? It wasn't sexy enough. It didn't fit the story. It wasn't what they wanted to say. It didn't fit the narrative to tear down the Maverick County attorney, Jaime Iracheta. Is that it? And that's the thing that I try to tell you guys. Whether you like what I do, how I do, when I do it, there's a lot of these stories that don't get told in its entirety. And it's done in such a deliberate way to confuse you watching. You're watching them telling you this story, and it's a one-sided story where they don't tell you the other side. Now, albeit you always got three sides of a story. It's one side, the other side, and the truth. And that's the way it is. But I think that whenever you're trying to represent yourself as a person that's informing the community, I'm not even trying to say if you identify as a news or anything, like that doesn't matter in this day and age. In this day and age, ever since this communication, this social media, everything has totally completely turned around. And now the situation is that you don't have a traditional news source anymore. And even in Eagle Pass, where we really don't have, I mean, everybody knows the Newsgram. There were older established news. The Newsgram has been holding it down throughout the times, and respect to the Newsgram for the longevity of their business in doing news, but that is no longer the main type of news. The main type of news that is now very relevant is coming from the everyday person that is out there with their cell phone, taking the video, taking the picture, documenting the news. The news has completely changed in the way it's delivered, the way it is captured, and the way it is read by the viewers, right? Given that situation, it also turns around where it's not traditional anymore. you should not expect to get your news or your information from a traditional source anymore, because that is not relevant in this day and age. You can log on to Twitter or X, whatever you call it, and you'll learn anything about a situation even before Fox News, ABC News tells you nowadays, right? But much like that news as well, they give you a one-sided story and try to nail down the narrative that will get them the views. And yes, I'll tell you, as somebody that tries to make this type of content and stuff, it is about the views, but to a certain extent of where is your integrity on that. So I've always tried to hold myself to a different integrity. Now I haven't been, 100% efficiency on that. Now everybody strives to be 100% efficiency. Everybody wants that 1,000 batting average, but you strive and you try to get there. You try to get as close to it, right? So what I'm trying to say is that you need to see who you're getting your news, who you're getting your information from, and think, am I getting this information from, one, a reliable source, two, somebody you can trust to get the news, and three, this is maybe 2A or 2B, are you getting your news or your information from somebody that has already checked and verified the information? Verify that information and make sure to look at the other side of it. Make sure that there is no other contradicting information to their narrative, because there's a lot of people that want to tell you they're being informational, but all they want to do is sell you some type of narrative. And whenever that news story does not fit their narrative that they're trying to feed you, they abandon the story. They abandon the story right away. How come nobody tells you about the $16,000 overpayment to Miss White? It doesn't fit the narrative of how bad and crooked the Maverick County is, the Maverick County Attorney's Office. It does not fit the narrative. So that's very important moving forward when you guys need to get some information about situations that are going on here locally, is to think about what narratives are being sold to you. Another thing that we wanted to discuss with you guys, and we'll take a quick break to shout out Viva K9 Dog Training, Grooming, and Boarding Center, 830-335-2111, located at 1388 William Street in Eagle Pass, Texas. Guys, the Viva K9 takes awesome care of your pets, your dogs. If you guys need to take them for some boarding, some training, they did some awesome work with our dog earlier this year. We're real proud. Their obedience class is second to none. There's nothing like that here around locally, guys. So if you need your dog to be trained, you need some nail clipping, some dog hair trimming, you're going out for the weekend, you need them to take care of your dog, Class A service at Viva K9 Dog Training, Grooming, and Boarding Center. Hit them up, 830-335-2111. Guys, appreciate you hanging on. We're moving on to our next segment. Of course, a big situation happening with Claudia White filing the non-suit against Maverick County Attorney Jaime Iracheta. But the next topic I want to talk about real quick is the Eagle Pass City Council elections are coming up very soon. They're coming up next year. They'll hit us early in the year, in March, I believe. March, April would be the commencement of early voting. So we do have confirmation from Elias Diaz, councilman. He will be seeking re-election to his seat. We reached out to Mayor Rolando Salinas. Mayor Rolando Salinas mentioned that he is still undecided and that he will let us know whenever he does make that determination about if he's going to seek re-election. We have also reached out to Miss Monica Cruz, and we have not gotten a response from her. But those around in her circle have indicated that she will be seeking re-election. And I have heard from some people that there may be a step up, and she may be seeking the mayor's seat this coming election. Now, again, this is just speculation. This is stuff that we've been hearing from the community and people that are in proximity to people that she speaks to. And there is and maybe some interest in moving into the mayor seat, and that is being contemplated right now. From what we hear, we have not spoken with her directly. We did reach out, but we have not gotten a response as to if she'll be seeking re-election or if she'll be seeking another seat or if she'll be sitting this one out. My best guess, I would say that she probably will be seeking re-election this year. Now, one of the things I wanted to ask the people out there, we've been a little quiet in the comments. See if anybody has any nominations that you think that one, I think this person may be good for city council. Two, if you want to nominate somebody that you feel should run for any political office in the future, shout them out in the comments. But what we're actually really looking for directly is somebody that you would like to see come out in the next city council election. Again, it's right around the corner. We're in December now. By March, April, we're expecting the announcement to come down and letting everybody know about the dates to sign up for or register if you're interested for election. So with that said, if anybody wants to mention anybody in the comments about if they're a good fit for city council, of course, that's the next election that is coming up. Or if you're interested yourself, go ahead and post yourself in there in the comments. But guys, this is all the time we had for you today. We wanted to go over specifically the lawsuit and the non-suit that was filed, and of course, who's confirmed and who hasn't confirmed yet of who would be running for the City of Eagle Pass City Council elections this year in 2025. It's going to be very interesting. You make sure to like our page if you haven't. Do me a favor, share this video. It was a brief one, but it's one that everybody needed to hear about this non-suit being filed against the Maverick County attorney, Jaime Iracheta. It's important to know what is going on in your community, as it is important to know who you're getting information from this community about this from this community, right? You want to make sure you're getting the good information, information that's been verified. Help us out, share this video, like this video. We appreciate your time. Enjoy your weekend. This is the Maverick Times Podcast, episode 27.